What's going on, guys? My name is BasedOnImpulse, and today we're going to be taking a look at a weapon that you are absolutely going to want to have going into Beyond Light. It has the potential to step into the spotlight and be the DPS king in November since the Wendigo is being sunset. Remember that the rapid-fire grenade launchers got hit with a hefty nerf a couple of seasons ago, so weapons like Swarm of the Raven or Behringer's Memory aren't in a great spot at the moment, but the adaptive archetype of grenade launchers, like the Wendigo, are what we're going to be talking about today, and they definitely came out stronger on the other side of that grenade launcher patch. The weapon that we're going to talk about today isn't going to sunset until Season 13 and can roll with one of the best perk combinations in the game for grenade launchers. So enough rambling, let's go ahead and talk about the new meta grenade launcher, the Interference 6. The Interference 6 was originally a static rolled weapon that came out with the faction rally during the Curse of Osiris expansion. The static roll of this weapon is suboptimal, to say the least, not to mention that that's also being sunset. But this weapon returned to us in the Season of the Worthy with random rolls as well as an increased infusion cap, and it's honestly going to be one of the weapons that I'm personally going to be using a ton once Beyond Light drops in November. This weapon is actually reasonably easy to acquire. It will drop for you from the world loot pool, meaning that it can come from legendary and prime engrams as well as milestone completions. The most efficient way to quote-unquote farm for a roll on this weapon is to spam legendary shards at Master Rahul and hope you get lucky. This is a really RNG heavy weapon to try and get, but if you have the shards to spend, I highly recommend chasing a good roll. Engrams at Rahul will run you 25 shards each, and his pool is pretty large, so getting a solid roll on this weapon could get really expensive really fast. Now let's take a look at the absolute god roll. The roll that I have isn't bad, but it's certainly not the perfect roll. You can see my roll on screen right now. I've got the Smart Drift Control barrel, which is fine, but it's not really what you want. Hard Launch is the best option in this column, as it gives you plus 15 to your velocity stat, making your grenades move much quicker. I've also got Spike Grenades, which is a no-brainer. You always want these on your DPS grenade launchers. The next two perks are what really make this weapon shine for DPS though. First, we have Clown Cartridge, which will randomly overflow this weapon from reserves whenever you reload. On the Interference, this goes as high as 8 shots, but you can take it even further to 11 shots if you put on a backup mag mod. You can shoot almost twice as many grenades in one magazine with this setup on the Interference versus a Wendigo. We'll get into that comparison a bit more later. Field Prep is also another great perk to have in this column, as it increases your reserves as well as greatly increasing your reload speed while you are crouching. That sounds kind of niche, but all you have to do is crouch when you run out of ammo during a DPS phase and your reload is zooming. The final perk we've got on this roll is Full Court, which states that detonation damage increases the further a projectile flies. This is always a great perk to have on DPS grenade launchers, as you're reasonably far away from most bosses when you are doing damage. And finally, for the Masterwork, I've got a Blast Radius Masterwork, which really doesn't help me all that much since I'm using this for DPS. Ideally, you'd want this to be a Velocity Masterwork just to get that extra projectile speed to help when you're taking advantage of Full Court. So the TLDR God Roll is Hard Launch, Spike Grenades, Clown Cartridge, or Field Prep. This column is really just preference / dependent on the situation, Full Court, and a Velocity Masterwork. So I mentioned Wendigo earlier in this video, and Interference is better for several reasons. Interference is overall the better pick because it isn't getting sunset, can hold more ammo if you have Clown Cartridge, and does not rely on a perk like Explosive Light in order for it to be good. Clearly this weapon has a lot of things going for it when you compare it to the Wendigo, but let's zero in on the one thing that matters the most, and that is DPS values. Doing some quick damage testing at Greg on Titan got me these numbers. My Interference that I showed you all earlier in the video does 21,344 damage per shot at around 25 meters. I mentioned the distance here because I have Full Court, so that's important to know. With 5 shots in the mag, this gives us a DPS value of 42,688. For the Wendigo, we have to account for the difference between having Explosive Light active and not having it. So with Explosive Light, we hit for 27,496 damage per shot on Greg, which gives us a damage per second value of 57,866. But without Explosive Light, the damage drops to only 16,136 damage per shot, which leads to a subsequent DPS value of 33,971. So yeah, numbers and math are great and all, but what does this actually mean? What this tells us is that the Wendigo is significantly better in small DPS windows where you will only use your 6 explosive light shots and that's it. After those 6 explosive light shots, Wendigo's damage drops off by 70%. Yes, that's how big of a buff explosive light is. Interference, on the other hand, is much better for sustained DPS. Interference is going to hit those same numbers every time because it does not rely on a damage buff. And if you have Clown Cartridge, it will be even better since you'll be able to shoot off more shots before having to reload the weapon, and Full Court on top of that will make the damage even better the further away you are from the boss that you are damaging. And after all, Wendigo is being sunset in November, so the Interference will easily be the best 120 to have at the ready for when Beyond Light drops. And there you have it. The Interference is the grenade launcher that you absolutely need if you are looking for a Wendigo replacement for Beyond Light. If you guys enjoyed the video and found it useful, a positive rating would be greatly appreciated. Also remember to share this video, as that is one of the best ways to help the channel grow. A lot of you guys have been commenting saying that you love the videos and that you want me to grow bigger. The biggest way that you guys can help me do that is by sharing this video and getting my name and the channel out there. I really appreciate you guys' support, and that is one of the biggest ways that you can support the growth of the channel. If you're new, remember to subscribe and hit the bell button to get notified whenever new Destiny videos go live on the channel. You can also find links in the description below to follow my Twitter and Twitch, as well as join my Discord server. The Discord is starting to get a good number of people in it now, so definitely consider joining if you're looking for some positive people to run Destiny content with. As always, guys, thank you very much for stopping by, and I will see all of you in the next video.